released in July 2001, developed by Remedy Entertainment and published by Rockstar Games, and it's a classic third-person shooter that puts you into the boots of Max Payne, an undercover agent that is out to seek revenge after his family is brutally murdered in the first 10 minutes of the game, so no spoilers there. Now, is it still fun to play? Short answer, yes, and if you wanna know why, stick around and enjoy the video. I think this game more than anything else is a product of its time, and that's not a bad thing at all. It made me feel more nostalgic than I expected it to be. I remember playing it when I was like 12, 13 years old, and it definitely stuck in my mind as a great game, both gameplay wise and with its dark and impactful story. I mean, this game should definitely not be played by a young kid. It was definitely made for a more mature audience, but it did not stop me from enjoying it for what it was. And at the time I didn't have a PC at home, so I was at the local internet cafe, so it's not like my parents were around keeping an eye on me, you know. The story of Max Payne is somewhat similar to another Max that I've played recently, and that is Mad Max. It's a very painful and dark story, with Max being an undercover agent that goes home one night only to find his wife and his newly born child brutally murdered for no apparent reason. From here, we start out Max's journey and we unfold the story, which starts out pretty basic and simple, but it develops into bigger things, and it keeps players wondering what's gonna come up next. Overall, I'd say the storyline is okay. Not too bad, not too good, and it lets you focus on the gameplay itself, which is a good thing in my opinion. Now that being said, I think it does a good job showing the downfall of Max Payne and how much weight does he carry after losing his loved ones, partially blaming himself for not being there for them. And it reminded me very much of the 90s movies, the action in this game and the storyline. It reminded me very much of the old school action movies with Arnold, Sylvester Stallone, Van Damme and Steven Seagal. And it's definitely, as I said previously, this game is a product of its time, and that's not a bad thing. I had a lot of fun playing it, and I had a lot of good memories hit me while I was playing this game. Graphically, the game obviously does not offer a jaw-dropping experience, and while I can understand if you are a younger gamer that this might be something that will turn you off, I think at least you should give it a try. You might end up falling in love with the gameplay, and therefore you could look past the graphics. Now that being said, by no means I think this is an ugly game, but then again I played it when it first came out, and at that time the game looked fantastic, so I might not be the best person to give you an objective opinion about it. All I'm saying is that you should try it first before dismissing it for its graphics. Now let's get into the gameplay. I gotta say, when I first started playing it, I was a little bit underwhelmed, but after the first hour, I started to get back into it, and I started remembering why I enjoyed playing this game so much in the past. The gunplay is great, hitboxes are not perfect, and the way the bullets hit they have a certain type of delay, but once you get the groove of it, I think it's awesome. You master the skill and obliterate the opposition easier. And remember how I said in the beginning that the game reminds me of the 90s movies? Well, the gunplay does the same, because sometimes if your enemy is far away, you start shooting in his direction and you feel like you're hitting him with beans. You shoot but you don't hit much. It's not Stormtrooper level, but it's for sure something that you would see in an action movie in the 90s. And although I'm sure the developers didn't do that on purpose, it was more of a limiting factor that comes from the hardware and the software of the time. It does give the game a certain realism that it's hard to explain unless you've experienced it. Now, another thing that is amazing in this game and what made it extremely popular when it came out is the slow motion jumps. It is so satisfying to jump sideways in slow motion and unload your weapon into the guy that dares come at you, man. It's a lot of fun. It makes you feel like Neo in the Matrix, and sometimes it's the only way to gun yourself out of certain situations that the game puts you in. It's great, and if I remember correctly, it's the first game that did this. Now that being said, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, guys. Checkpoints in this game are very few and far between, so you better get used to quick saving all the time in the game. Otherwise, you will have to play through some parts over and over when you eventually die. Another thing that I don't agree with is in your first walkthrough you can only select medium difficulty, and only after you finish the game you can then select harder difficulties, which I don't understand why they did this. I'm not sure, like for example, I'm not gonna play through the game all over again just to play it on a more difficult setting. I don't see where the replay value would be there, but hey, I guess they thought differently back in the days. Also, the audio might be broken if you get the game on Steam. This happened to me, where I could hear the in-game sounds, but the music and the cutscene dialogues were muted. Fortunately, there are fixes for this problem. You can find them online easily, and it's nothing major. You can fix it in 2 minutes. Now, one thing that I absolutely hated in this game are the dream sequences. Walking on those goddamn red lines, and you'll know what I mean when you get there if you play the game, is an absolute pain in the ass. The game is clunky on those parts, and Max's movement just feels inconsistent. You'll just fall over and over and over. It'll frustrate you. I don't feel like those sections add too much to the game, or I think they could have done a better job illustrating demonstrating the dream sequences and the gameplay that is in them. Concluding this video, I will say this: if you first played the game when it came out and you're wondering if you should play it again for old time's sake, go for it. I think it's worth it, and the gameplay is still fun. On the other hand, if you're a younger gamer, maybe you weren't born when the game first came out and you were wondering if you should try it out, then all I can tell you is this: get the game. It's like, I think it's 10 euros on Steam. Play it for a while, under 2 hours, so you can refund it, and then see if it clicks for you. If you enjoy it, then just play it through, because it's a great game, I think. And if you don't enjoy it, then you can always like stop playing it, get a refund, so you didn't miss anything, you didn't lose money, but you still gave it a shot. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you want to see more, stick around, subscribe to the channel. I will be posting more videos like this, obviously. Hit the like button and maybe share the channel with your friends. Until next time, stay safe, stay clean, and stay strong.